Hey everybody, and welcome back to the next episode in the CSS series. And what we're going to be looking at now is styling links, and if we have time, we're also going to get to styling lists, both of which are kind of tricky at times. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to have already started here in our markup. We're looking at just two simple links that open in new windows. All right, and then we have three statuses for our style. All right, we got the regular link, the hover, and the active link. Okay, and so these are pretty simple. Basically, your regular traditional link is going to inherit default styles. We're going to be overriding them by telling the browser here what we want our links to display. Okay, so our standard link is going to be this color, basically a red. Then the hover is going to be this purple. The active is going to be that blue. All right. And so if we reload this here, you see the hover on both of these is indeed that purple, or it's kind of a purple. And then also when you click down on the link, it's blue. All right, which is exactly what you would expect. And that works the same for both of them. All right. Now, you might be asking, what about the visited part? If you know enough, they've actually done away, most browsers have done away with the visited simply because of some JavaScript exploits that were able to test your browsing history based on your links that were changed status. So a lot of the browsers have dropped the visited style. If it were, if you want to include it for browsers that are older and where it's still viable, the hierarchy and the order of things, you would stick it between the link, which is the A, and then the hover. So your A visited would go here. All right. And so that's basically your order structure. Your link goes first, then hover, then active. All right, and that order is important. Otherwise, you could get some different results. Okay, and that's it for the link section. Now we'll move on to the list section. So before we get into the list items, I want to make a point here about organization of your style sheets. Until later on, where we're getting into SAS, where it's actually controlling the order itself, which it's basically designed itself to do very, very well. For me, it's easiest to do in order so that we don't lose track of what's the most important priority. HTML elements should always go at the top of the page. Okay, and so what we've got here is we've got body, and then all of our flush code, our links, and then we get into individual classes. And one of the things that I'm very big on, if you've seen some of my videos before, is commenting. So elements, and then we'll do classes, and then we'll add some additional category breakdowns using comments as well. All right, but for now, that's a good way to start. All right, and thanks a lot, and we'll be right back with the lists. Okay, and now we're on to the list section. All right, and so what I've done is I've added a section in our HTML elements area in the top, one for UL and then one for ULLI. And this basically is targeting the any of the ULs with as the parent item with the child items of LIs. Okay. Now, as far as markup goes, it's pretty simple. You just have an opening UL and a closing UL tag. And basically, with lists, you have two types. You have an unordered list and you have an ordered list. An ordered list is going to start to, by default, it's going to give you numbered results. Your list items are all going to be numbered. Unordered lists, they're not numbered. You can, however, substitute. What we're going to do here is we're going to show you, we're going to substitute images for it, which is kind of a nice feature. All right, and basically all we need is an opening LI tag and then a closing LI tag for each item that's in the list. All right, and so we'll just quickly copy these. Oops. And copy the closing tags. Save it and refresh. There we go. And you'll see by default we have, it's hard to see because these are, because of the background, but basically you have a bullet point for each one of these. Okay, and that's the default styling of a list. All right. So now to get rid of that, what we can use is list style type and then none. All right, and so we save it and refresh it. You see that those bullets go away. A really nice and easy way to make your site look really, kind of to make it pop is to use a really cool little image. Instead of a bullet point, we can show you how to use an image to replace that, make it look really nice. I've just found a simple chevron. This isn't anything classy. It isn't anything I would do. It's just to illustrate the point of using an image. This is a 32 by 32 size chevron, okay, with a transparent background. All right, and so instead of list style type, we're going to do list style image. And just like a background image, it's going to have a URL. And again, we're in the CSS folder, so we need to bring ourselves back up to the root, and then img, and then chevron.png. Okay. All right, and you can see our little chevron there. All right, and so that needs a little bit of a flush because we didn't add it up there. And we can add it here just as easy. So margin 0 pixels, save it. And one thing we want to do down here to make sure that we only get one chevron, no matter how big the display, we're going to use the background repeat and set it to no repeat. And we're going to position it .0 pixels and 5 pixels. Okay, and then padding left to push it off of the list item, say 15 pixels. All right, and there we go. So your pixels, your positioning is basically 0, 5. You're going to be up 5 and then over 0. I'm sorry, 0 at the bottom. And then also what we did with 15 pixels off to the left, that might actually be a little too much. So let's look at maybe 8 pixels. Yeah, that's a little nicer, closer to it. And then you can toy with the positioning. Basically, if we look at the element, we want the item image. Here it is. Looks like it's not going to show it because it's not showing, it's not coming up with the actual positioning. All right, that's fine. We can leave this. We can test this without actually using the live editor. 0, 5. I think the 5 up actually looked better. So we'll go to that. And then for this, I'm actually thinking even a little closer, so 5 pixels. Yeah, much nicer, a little tighter. So that's basically the list section. In the next video, we're going to go over a couple of different things, and I'm going to try and keep things as close to the close. I'm going to keep them as short as I can. But in the next table, we're going to look at tables. And I know that tables are supposed to be deprecated, but people still use them, and there's still some really nice ways of making them look good. So thanks again. Stay tuned for the next video. hit that like button below and leave me a comment. Thanks a lot.